Welcome to Selectory, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the 10 best Korean movies on Netflix. The South Korean film Parasite was a huge success at the 2020 Academy Awards, winning Best Picture and making history as the first foreign language film to earn the honor. With a long history of producing internationally acclaimed films, Korean cinema is certainly not lacking in production. It's only a matter of time before there's another K-drama on the rise, like Squid Game, which was a big hit in 2021. From big budget to critically acclaimed, these are the 10 best Korean movies on Netflix right now. Number 10, Soul Searching. Soul Searching is a personal film about the Korean culture. It explores how after the Korean War, many people left Korea for other countries with only the clothes on their back, and dreams of better lives. With time, their children had little understanding of their heritage. In the 1980s, this new generation of South Koreans was brought back to their homeland, to learn about their background at a co-ed summer school. Writer and director, Benson Lee, takes us on a coming-of-age journey both specific and universal, with a film that can be similar to John Hughes's classic, but parallel to Spike Lee's School Days, in how it tackles race and identity in a very promising cinematic vision. Soul Searching can at times feel too long and unfocused, but it is hard not to be dragged along in the wake of Lee's self-confidence. In the press notes, he says that the movie is one that I've yearned to see all my life, which could be its plot synopsis in one sentence. For people of any background, Lee's movie will be able to reflect new aspects of themselves in its characters. The power of that pride is something that can never be underestimated. Number 9, Tune In for Love. Despite topping the box office in South Korea, Tune In for Love has never been as acclaimed abroad as it is in its home country. It screened in the London East Asian Film Festival, but Jung Ji-woo's eighth film didn't really prove its worth outside of art house production centers, where a few dedicated viewers attended. While not entirely overlooked, this release definitely slipped under the radar. Tune In for Love is not without faults, but it has many redeeming qualities to offer viewers, who are bored with typical romantic movies. Love is both an exciting and terrifying part of life, but beyond the sensationalized plots, what's really interesting about love is how natural it feels, to experience highs and lows throughout the journey. You will not walk away from this film wholly satisfied. Some pieces of the story linger with no resolution, and others are hastily wrapped up. However, for a piece of film that merges simplistic subjects with complex layers courtesy of multifaceted characters, this is a good effort. Number 8, Steel Rain. The film reflects the North Korean conflict, through the lens of a North Korean operative, and a nerdy presidential aide. South Korean writer-director, Yang Woo-sok, takes the horror of the Cold War and infuses it with comedy, to make it work for 2018. Packed with high-intensity action and flashy special effects, this movie is sure to delight audiences. And it benefits from the odd couple dynamics of the lead actors, who are played by Jung Woo-sung and Kwak Do-won. Coming off of two world leaders boasting about their nuclear buttons, the film gains topicality before its Netflix release. The special effects are one of the highlights of the film, rendering nuclear weapons and pyrotechnics with impressive detail. In Steel Rain, Jung Woo-sung's moves are choreographed to appear especially lethal. He's the perfect fit for this film, which is masterfully crafted and a must-watch for action fans. Number 7, The Witch Part 1, The Subversion. Director Park Hoon-jung is telling a story that sounds like a Superman movie. A very special kid who becomes an orphan after a tragic event, grows up trying to fit into a world that doesn't even understand them. The only way for a character like this to discover themselves and their true potential is through an extraordinary circumstance, usually something evil. And this movie is no exception. But the beauty of The Witch is the dark and sublimely satisfying journey it takes us on, once we realize that our hero's motivation is survival. The film's two major strengths are its action and its lead. The fight scenes are fast-paced and brutal, with characters fighting with their hands, guns, and an array of special abilities. Park captures the adrenaline-pumping action with meticulous detail, and it never disappoints thanks to a combination of effective execution and Kim Young-ho's cinematography. The Witch is the perfect introduction to what's to come, and it delivers a satisfying story while leaving viewers eager for more. Number 6, #Alive. The parallels of this horror movie are obvious to the struggles with isolation that many face during the COVID-19 quarantine. While it may not be the most original zombie movie, #Alive is quite entertaining. It includes all of the old school goodies, cadaver makeup, shredded clothing, shrieking, moaning, lurching, and even cannibalism. But #Alive is also more than that. It reflects on what we know as the new normal during COVID, including how people are living in fear of the virus and how isolation is becoming commonplace. The movie's not perfect, as is the case with many horror films. Characters make decisions that defy common sense and feel more like they're made to move the story forward. But the story is still good in general, and it does a good job at telling a story that's centered on one character for most of the film. The ending of this movie is cheesy, but if we're looking to be entertained as a temporary escape from the real world, we need an ending that entertains rather than just scares. This one is both action-packed and thoughtful, and is a welcome addition to the genre. Number 5. Space Sweepers. In the year 2092, space is a dangerous place. Discarded satellites and abandoned spaceships litter the cosmos. The Victory's crew, looking for any money-making garbage, must also compete with other junk collector ships from around the world. Their fast spaceship can defeat its rivals in a race, but speediness is no match for a well-planned strategy. Space Sweepers is a film that is packed with riveting costuming, eye-catching production design, and creative world-building visuals. From their specific avionics to their riotous character, the spacecrafts all have an intriguing flair. The film also enjoys its use of language, freely mixing Korean with English, and a hodgepodge of patois to represent the lingua franca of this future world. As adventure stories go, Space Sweepers doesn't break any new conceptual ground. As its ragtag team of heroes struggle to protect an interstellar MacGuffin from the cruel, well-funded Big Bad and his faceless henchmen, they develop an ethical sense of responsibility. If you're a fan of science fiction, you will really enjoy this story. For everyone else, it's a thrilling ride made from recycled parts that still manages to maintain a lot of appeal. Number 4. The Call. In the past few years, South Korean horror films have been getting a lot of attention. One of the most recent entries into this genre is The Call, featuring #Alive star Park Shin-hye and Jong Seo-joon from the movie Burning. It comes with a talented cast and is armed with a compelling premise. With a good blend of sci-fi and slasher elements, the movie manages to strike the perfect balance for lovers of serial killer films, tight thrillers, and twisty science fiction. You rarely see this in horror movies these days, but it's what makes The Call all the more delightful. The combination of time travel, slasher, and thriller is not an easy one to pull off. Despite the many ways it could go wrong, the movie manages to do it effectively. It spends a lot of time establishing Seo-yeon's world and her mental state, taking an eerie slow burn approach that builds intrigue and tension. If you're someone who needs answers to every single question, The Call may frustrate you. Give it a chance anyways, because it's worth setting aside the need for all the information to enjoy this truly fresh film. It's entertaining, emotional, and extremely bloody. Number 3. Snowpiercer. For all the comic book fans out there, Snowpiercer is not something you should miss. This is one of the best comic book adaptations that you don't even realize in the first place. Acclaimed South Korean director, Bong Joon-ho, made his English language debut with this film. It follows a group of survivors as they try to find their way through a frozen wasteland, aboard an eternally moving train. The film takes place in a post-apocalyptic society with an ever-present, real-world divide between the poor and the wealthy. It focuses on the squalor of the cars at the back of the train, contrasting the luxurious, decadent passengers in first class. It's brutal, emotionally vulnerable, and beautiful. The effects may not be perfect in comparison to the latest superhero movie, but there's no denying the film's glossy charm. Snowpiercer is an action-packed, sci-fi masterpiece. With a knockout performance by Chris Evans and thoughtful geekery, this film is definitely worth seeing. Number 2. Forgotten. After 10 years of sticking with TV, director Jang Hang-joon shifted back to cinema in 2017 with Forgotten, a gripping thriller about the life behind a man named Ji-sok. The international release of the film has been a surprise hit after being successful in Korea. This movie offers more than just a look-see at how life experiences can change people. It is an intense, gripping film that maintains a sense of suspense for most of its length. There may be flaws, such as the music being too light and hollow at times, but these minor setbacks do not undermine what is so evidently an attentive piece of cinema. Ergo, Forgotten is a movie that must be seen, part intriguing, part shocking, but an undeniably gripping thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat, as it explores how far someone will go to find answers. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Number 1. Okja. Okja is an emotional story that follows a girl and her huge mutant pig. Through the use of digital effects and puppetry, the film's creators made something non-existent seem just as real as E.T. or King Kong. It's also a story about animal rights activists going to war with a company that wants to use the pig, purportedly the cutest of a batch of genetically modified animals, as a marketing symbol for their revolutionary line of meat products. These two modes might seem incompatible, but they mesh in an irresistible work by the great South Korean director, Bong Joon-ho. It is funny, scary, sad, and thought-provoking, all at the same time. In a moment of movie history where entertaining movies often stand for nothing, and films with something to say forget to be as entertaining as they could be, Okja has accomplished an incredible balancing act. It never shoves drama or comedy aside in favor of the philosophical and ethical questions it raises. The film explores questions of trust, what it means to keep it and what circumstances call for betrayal, and whether we can trust our human counterparts more than we can trust animals. Miha would tell you that there is no difference. We hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this one. And thank you so much for watching.